2 of my video, or the knitting portion. I wanted to share with you a couple of the knitting projects that I'm working on, and this one is completed and the other one in process. I talked about this in my last video and I was nearly done with this sweater. This is the Whippet pattern, and I'll share that information with you on the screen. It's available on Ravelry. The yarn I used was from Universal called Papyrus. I don't remember the color, but anyway, this is the completed sweater. I turned the collar down. That was not really part of the design, but it fit better on me to do that. So I'm pleased with how it came out. It's very comfortable yarn. It's really made a comfortable sweater. And as I said earlier, it's already been 80-degree days here. It's nearly end of April or late April. So I don't know how much I'm going to get to wear my new sweater. Not really supposed to be going anywhere for at least another week or more. So I think this might end up being next spring's sweater. But it is finished. And this was an easy pattern to do the stitch to. It's a top down, which was my first experience making a top down. It was also my first experience doing short rows. And that's how the front was done. You'll notice the back is shorter than the front. I wasn't sure whether I would like that when it was finished, and quite honestly, I wish I hadn't done that. I'd never done short rows, so it was an interesting experience to do it, but I think the sweater would have looked better if it had just come straight around. If I maybe made it a tad longer overall, and I had plenty of yarn to do that, and just not had it have this angle in the front, because it would have had somewhat of a natural angle anyway as it lay open in the front, because I don't have buttons on this, but I'm not that crazy about the pointy part of the bottom, but I have it done, and so this is my completed sweater. And if you recall in the last video, the one thing I did different in the top down is I did not do the sleeves in the round. I went ahead and did those back and forth because I just don't like working with double pointed needles and the magic loop. I didn't really enjoy doing that technique very much either. So, but the rest of it I really like doing, and I would do another top-down sweater given the right design. So that's a completed project. Then the project I was starting in the last video is this one using Noro yarn, and what this is going to be is a poncho that you can wear either of two directions. So you can wear it, I'm up to the neckline. That's why I have two different needles here. I'm about to separate at the middle. I'll show you what the stitch design looks like. And then I have this border on the side, this kind of scallop border. All right. So I'm up here to where it will split off at the neckline, and it can be worn this way. So it goes, so I have an opening here, and then I'll just go over the back, and that will, make a pretty wide poncho going across the front. Or it can lay this direction and have more of a bateau neck. So this would be a V-neck, this would be more of a bateau neck. So this would be the coming up to here, and then my opening would start and go across the shoulders. And I have a feeling this is the way I will end up wearing it. I think that I'll like the appearance and the feel of that better. But either way, so far it's a really enjoyable project to do. I've done this on size 8 needles, and it's coming out really beautiful open design, which is what I wanted. And this yarn from Noro, I still have here it is. I left the label up here so I wouldn't forget to talk about it in this video, because I shared this yarn before. This is the geisha yarn, but I didn't tell you what it was made out of. It's viscose, 35% cotton, 10% wool, and 20% silk. And being that it is mostly cotton and silk, it is really light. It's a very light material. So I think this can be sort of a summer weight poncho. True summer in North Carolina would be too warm for it, but certainly spring and early fall I can start to wear this. So I think this over a tank will be a nice addition to the wardrobe once we get to start going places again. So we're all looking forward to that and making projects with the anticipation that we will get to go places. Now, one comment I'll make about how I'm going to do this, you'll notice how striped the yarn is. I like that. This is my second Noro yarn, and both of them have been this way. And I really like it. It's very predictable as to where your colors are going to be, that the teal follows the royal blue, followed by this purpley blue, and then the gray, and so forth. So the next color that's going to be coming out here is this more purpley blue after the teal, and this is about where I'm going to split. So as I continue on, my stripes, because I'm only going to be doing half of it, and then I'll be coming back and doing the other half, my stripes are going to get wider for the part that goes over the shoulders, if you're wearing it this direction, or the part that comes across the middle if you're going the other way. But anyway, I'm going to have wide stripes in the middle. And what I will need to do when I come over to this side is to make sure I start the yarn where I have just a little bit of this teal left, and it's starting to go into that purplish color to do the next stripe so that it matches up. Because I want my striping, especially if I'm wearing it this way, to be consistent going across. I also did my patterns to where I have, I think, 4 pattern repeats of the main design going up the front, and that's where I'm breaking. And then I'll probably, I think my calculations work out to where I'll do 4 pattern repeats that go across the middle, and then I'll join it back together for another 4 pattern repeats coming down the back. And that will make everything nice and even. You wouldn't have to do the middle exactly the same as the top and the front and the back, but I think that's going to work for my situation and keep everything nice and symmetrical. So anyway, working with a stripe yarn creates some beautiful effects, but you do have to consider those things. So that's my knitting project that I'm working on. I've not gotten to knit quite as much as I would like to, or maybe it's not going quite as fast. I've been knitting a fair amount, but it's not going quite as fast as I thought. So I don't think I'm going to have this done by the end of April like I expected, but that's okay. It'll get done when it gets done, and in the meantime I have plenty of other knitted things that I can wear once we have an opportunity to go out. Sweaters like this, after I've worn them for a season or two, more as a specialty item in my wardrobe, this can be an around the house kind of sweater. I'm very comfortable with doing that. But I've got a lot of time and money invested into it right now, so I'm not going to wear it to cook lunch. I'm going to wear it to go somewhere sometime. Anyway, thank you for joining me today, and I hope you've enjoyed the videos, and perhaps we'll get back to some paper crafting and other types of sewing one of these days when I get a little more caught up. Thanks again.